welcome to Fight the Night review, the first one of 2023 on the second UFC card of 2023. It was a pay-per-view, it was UFC 283 at the Jeunesse Arena in Rio De Janeiro, Brazil, and it was the main event for the vacant UFC Light Heavyweight Championship between Glover Teixeira and Jamahal. And as always, it's my job to very badly explain the fight through all of its rounds, and this fight did go through all of the rounds, all 5 of them. That's 25 minutes worth to cover, which I'll likely do in about 10 minutes, give or take. We'll see where it gets us. So, I say we go. First, obviously, we have round 1, and we begin with a really nice glove touch before the two separate and actually start to get into fighting range. And they both throw a good couple of shots. Glover is the first one to really initiate anything, though, when he goes for a takedown attempt to try and push Jamahal against the cage and try and take him down. But Jamahal actually defends really well. He's got a really underrated takedown defense, really underrated grappling, and for the most part, in round 1, Jamahal kind of wins round 1 for me. Spoiler alert for that, very early on. He's landing really good strikes against Glover, utilising his range well, utilising his good head movement and defense as well. He lands good body kicks, he lands some really good leg kicks. Glover is landing a few things as well. He's even going up high with some really good boxing combos, but for the most part, Jamahal is just managing to keep his head off the centre line, able to land his own shots against Glover, landing some really good boxing combos, putting them together quite well. It is fairly even for the most part on the feet, but, Jamahal definitely takes it. He lands about 20 more strikes than Glover does, and I give round 1 very easily to Jamahal. He was just landing Glover, although there was a moment where Jamahal was accidentally poked in the eye, which did sort of add to a dip in the action. But yeah, didn't really take away Jamal's focus a lot, and he was able to recover pretty well and land a lot of really good shots against Glover to win round 1 fairly. Then we get to round 2, and it is sort of the same story, although it almost starts with an eye poke. Jamahal accidentally pokes Glover in the eye, and as Glover's recovering, he says 1-1, which got a good laugh from me. I did think that was really funny of him. Glover does not get enough credit for how much of a funny person he can be. But yeah, they get back in there, and Jamahal is again landing very well against Glover. He's starting to throw his head kicks, he's starting to throw the clinch knees to the head and the body very well, but Glover actually does get a takedown in round 2, which is the only takedown he gets in this entire round. He manages to get Jamahal down and sort of goes through a good couple of submission attempts early on. The main thing I like about this is not only was it halfway through round 2, sorry I haven't really explained much before then, there really hasn't been much else to talk about, but yeah, Glover, my favourite part is that when Glover takes Jamahal down, the crowd, Brazilian crowd, Glover's a Brazilian fighter, they go fucking mental for that, and I quite like it. I like Brazilian crowds, I like how passionate they can get. Despite all of his submission attempts and ground and pound attempts, Glover is not really able to do anything significant to Jamahal. Jamahal gets back up, sorts out landing Glover again, and round 2 I would say is probably the most even in this entire fight. Glover even lands again some really good boxing shots, but Jamahal is just outstriking, using his range and defense way better. And I give round 2 to Jamahal as well, although the takedown from Glover does almost make it even. Almost. Then gets to round 3, and by this point there's much less of a competition. I give all of round 3 to Jamahal. He was just completely outstriking Glover. He's landing vicious head kicks. He lands like 3 of the fucking things in a row. He starts to cut up Glover above his, he starts to bruise Glover's left eye, like a small cut around here on his left eyebrow, and a massive one here on his right eyebrow, for Glover's right eyebrow to specify. No eye pokes in this one though, which is good. But yeah, at some point Jamahal even gets a nasty knockdown on Teixeira, and I thought he was about to finish it. Teixeira manages to recover though and get back up, and he lands maybe 1 or 2 good punches, but yeah, by this point I think Jamahal has landed like 4 times as many strikes as Glover has, and Jamahal is just so his striking is just so good and so much more clean than Glover's is, which is saying considering how good Glover's boxing is. But yeah, Jamahal is just outstriking him again with the leg kicks, doing a bit more headhunting and landing it well. He lands a lot of really good jab combos, especially like 5 in a row he lands near the start of the round. Yeah, I give pretty much the entirety of round 3 to Jamahal. He was just way better than Glover was. We then get to round 4, and things really start to settle down by this point. There's not as much action going on. Jamahal lands some strikes, Glover lands a couple of strikes, Jamahal lands more. They're both pretty tired by this point. Although it does start ramping up near the end of the 4th round though, when Jamahal lands a lot of really good strikes, landing a knee, especially that really hurts Glover, backs him up against the cage, and starts winging at him with uppercuts, much like he did in round 2, I think it was. Lands some really great uppercuts good body kicks, leg kicks, some knees to the body and to the head as well. And I was so surprised that Mark didn't stop the fight by that point, because like Glover was on the receiving end of a beatdown for like 30 seconds. He did land a good shot or two that managed to counter Jamahal and send him back a bit. But yeah, no, Jamahal got back in there, utilised his head movement and pushed him with a really great like forward left that he'd been doing for a few times throughout this fight. This was probably like the ending of round 4 was probably his best landing of it. And yeah, I give round 4 to Jamahal. Again, just really great takedown defense. I think by this point he defended about 13 out of 14, which is just really good, especially against a guy like Teixeira. But yeah, I give round 4 to Jamahal. We then get to round 5, and not a lot really happens. The fight is almost up though before the round starts, excuse my hair, because the doctor does look at Glover, looks at the nasty cuts that have like been plastering his face, lets him continue. I mean, it's not like Jamahal got off complete scot-free either, because he had a really nasty cut under his right cheek, but like in terms of like facial damage, Glover looked a lot worse for wear. But yeah, the crowd was very happy that Glover, was able to continue fighting. Although I don't think they would have been so happy if they'd seen how the rest of the round would have shook out, because, they start, they hug each other, which is all well and good. They throw a few feints, Glover goes for a takedown for about half of the last round. He manages to hold it, even gets a really good mount position, but eventually Jamahal manages to turn it around into a takedown of his own, and he gets Glover on his back, and his grappling and top game is not as good as Glover's is, but he's still able to hold him down for a long time. Eventually Glover gets back up, they throw a few more feints and maybe a couple more strikes. Not much else happens, and I give round 5 also to Jamahal, and now we've got to talk about it. So, I mean, it's quite clear that Jamahal was going to win the fight, and he did by unanimous decision. It was 50-44 across all the cards, so I wasn't initially excited for this fight. However, there were some really good spark moments, but yeah, besides that, it was kind of one-sided and very heavily in favour of Jamahal, especially round 3. Like, he was so fluid and so perfect in round 3 especially. And it's a shame that this is the fight that Glover Teixeira decided to retire after he's done. I mean, God, the state of the light heavyweight division right now. I'm not mad that Jamal's the champion. I think he's a really good champion, very young champion as well, at not even 31 yet. And I think he's... Actually, no, not even 32. And I think he's going to do some really good things as a champion. I just felt like the fight should have ended by the end of the 4th round. I don't think it should have gone to the last round. I don't think Glover had a great showing, except for his 2 takedowns and some really good strikes in rounds 1, 2, and 4. He didn't really get many chances to shine. This was not anything like his fight with Yuri Prohaska last year, which was an instant fucking classic. It was very one-sided, and yeah, Jamahal just looked way too good in there. He was, obviously much younger and hungrier. Only a year older than Yuri Prohaska as well, which is something to take into consideration. And and Glover gave Yuri a much bigger run for his money. Not so much with Jamahal Hill, but you know what? He held it better than I thought he would, and compared to other one-sided squashes like Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal, this was a much better one-sided squash match, and at least Teixeira looked like he was enjoying himself for the most part, At least these two showed a really healthy amount of respect for each other and some kindness, so yeah, I didn't completely hate it, but it's definitely not going to be a top 10, so don't count on seeing it on the year-end list. That'll about do it for this, again, very dashed review. I will see you all hopefully tonight, because I want to try and finish the Metal Hellstinger Let's Play, because I never beat the final level, because I was hoping to last night, but a couple of failed attempts, and my parents having to go to sleep led to me not being able to do it, so hopefully I'll be able to do that tonight instead. I really, really hope so, because the last boss is bloody hard, but I'm not going to turn down the difficulty. I'm going to keep it as it is. I'm going to beat the boss on my own goddamn terms. Hopefully. And after that, I don't really know. Music of the week. Also, just a small bit of self-promotion as well. The Go Home Show parts for Heat of the Moment will be up hopefully tomorrow night. And then Friday night will be Heat of the Moment itself, emanating live from San Antonio, Texas, which is also, coincidentally, the same place that the Royal Rumble this year is taking place, and I did not fucking pre-plan that at all. I did not keep that in mind. So, that's something. That's something I'm doing. And then Music of the Week also on Thursday. I've still got 4 albums to listen to, and 6 in total to review. So, that'll be fun. But I'll see you all basically on screen on Thursday. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.